by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the total monk from a distant land who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And Gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake from Mini-Terrain Domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake, and this is Mini Terrain Domains MTD&D, Chult of Personality, our Tomb of Annihilation Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign, where tonight we are at episode 21, Rex and Effects. And we are pleased to welcome back our resident RPG construct and turtle monk Drake, who has been in absentia for way too long. Well, you know, it's not as long as it seems, because we had some breaks for the holidays, and another unscheduled break in there, and then you were on vacation. But you're back, so Ubo will be returning to the scene tonight.
At least temporarily.
We'll see how long that lasts. Yeah, right before we went live, I did threaten a potential TPK, so we will see how this goes. But welcome, everyone. I'm going to go around the horn here real quick and let each of these awesome players introduce themselves and just a quick intro on their character. And then I'm going to give somebody a chance for the recap for a point of inspiration. So, since you are returning, you've almost re-earned guest status because you've been gone so long. Drake.
See, not just guest. It would be nice to hear special guest, but apparently I'm just not there. No, I'm Drake, run the RPG Construct on YouTube. Haven't done this in a few months. I play Ubo, the turtle monk, who began this campaign pretty confused. He has kind of come into his own as far as his fighting ability and stuff. Lately, he has been hanging out with goblins that looked up to him, literally. And hopefully, these guys will come find me, because I'm getting sick of the goblins.
Next up is our honorary, at this point, honorary MTD resident, Megan. I don't think there's been a stream that Megan hasn't been a part of, it seems.
Hey everyone, I'm Megan. I'm one half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, and tonight I'm playing Brilinya, who is an Aasimar celestial warlock who worships Ilmater, who she's learned a lot from being outside of her little temple, and she's had to make some decisions that she never thought she would, but she made some good friends, so we'll see how that goes.
Next up, on his second character in the campaign, already planning his third character, Marquise.
What's up, everybody? I'm Marquise. I run the YouTube channel Masters by Marquise. Go check it out. I got lots of campaigns and one-shots coming out, a bunch of good fun. My character is Duanala, who is a Yuan-Ti pureblood sorcerer, shadow sorcerer to be exact. But there's layers to that, and it's not exactly everything I just said, at least at the core of it. But that's neither here nor there. So, what's up, everybody?
And finally, we saved the best for last. Or at least that's what I'm telling him this time. It's Mike.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mike. Playing a human fighter called Edric Med. That is the wrong campaign.
Wrong channel.
I am playing Vale Istafall, a half-elf paladin who, for the longest time growing up, he didn't know or wasn't really devout in his beliefs until a chance encounter, or perhaps not a chance encounter. Finding a religious artifact, he began to experience powers and abilities and other things that led him to start to understand faith, and started to have him feel more in tune with Chult, namely Ubtao, the Chultan god. I'm excited to play tonight. I hope we don't die because, hey, man, Vale just wants to have a house by a lake and grow bees, even though you don't grow bees. He's going to raise it. Bee tree, something like that. He'll figure it out.
There's a certain charming naivete to Vale. So, here we are at episode 21. We've been playing this campaign now for just over 7 months. 21 episodes, that's got to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 hours, I'm imagining, that we've put into this. So it would be a shame if you all died tonight. But here we are, and I left it up to Mike or Megan. If you want to do the recap of last session for the point of inspiration, or I'll do the recap and I will use that point of inspiration for my monsters. Going once. Going twice.
All right, fine. Knowing you're going to have some super goblin, or a goblin that's like an amalgamation of other goblins, like some sort of Voltron goblin, and it'll just be terrible. All right, so well, I don't know what that means. It's a skull. We're all gonna die.
It's the international symbol for TPK. A kid.
Oh, cool.
Tell us about last session, Mike.
So we had just finished. We had just finished in the beginning of the session dealing with the problem of my mount, or at least picking the different mounts. Obviously, I picked. I feel like I picked the Commandant. That was a right choice to make. I have not named said Commandant. I do need to talk to it to find out its name at some point. But we decided that it would be prudent to go get Ubo, because he goes running off like a 5-year-old. Seriously, I think if anything, we should have crafted a leash for him or something. Those little toddler harnesses or something. So we decided to go after him, and of course, the dice roll where they roll, and I'd had to fail when I needed to do it, and we totally got lost. And of course, I would have asked for directions, but there was a howler monkey, and he was kind of being a dick, so he turned around. And through divine inspiration, or divine, I don't know, we ended up in kind of a clearing, but with a whole lot of busted ass boat, and with this massive blue-looking sail thing, which we're only going to assume is just kind of like a large gas bag that has been ripped to shreds. We wandered through and found a couple of individuals that either were previous passengers, or perhaps not. Perhaps they were just zombies just wandering through. And then we fought them, and then we kicked all their asses because we're super rad. And that's when we heard some voices from half of the ship, calling down for help. And I made a joke, and it was only half funny, and then we ended the session.
And just real quick, I threw up an image there. For those who don't know what a Commodon is, it's basically like a leopard or jaguar with 6 snakes coming out of its shoulders. And that is what Ubtao granted to Vale as a celestial steed to be summoned at will.
Broken, but I like it.
I'm riding Medusa Jaguar. That's the size of a horse. Nothing can possibly go wrong there. Oh yeah, and he can put your ass to sleep.
Oh yeah. So take a point of inspiration, Mike, for that lovely recap.
Huzzah.
And we, if you look over to this side, as I'm pretending to look at it and point the map over here, you are kind of looking top down in this map at the broken remnants of the Star Goddess airship. So you guys are down below that, about 50 feet below it. After you vanquished the ghouls that were wandering around, you heard a voice coming from up above that was weakly calling out, "Hello! Hello! Down below! Can you hear me?" Is someone there?
I'm going to look at the others and say, do we say anything? Or do we just,
We already did at the end of last session, so if we say things to them now, it should work out the same.
Me. That's it. That's all I got.
Dunala is down here. He has been sent by Utah with the champion of Dunala. We will help you get down between now and the next 24 hours. That will give us time, I think, yes?
What?
Give us 24 hours, please.
It's been days.
Then one more will not hurt. They complain a lot.
No, we have to help them now. They could be hurt.
Well, we can help them now, but I'm just saying, if we say 24 hours and we rescue them early, they will be pleasantly surprised.
Brilinya.
That's flawless logic.
Dunala just shrugs like, I thought it was a good plan.
Dunala managing expectations.
I was going to say, Marquise clearly has worked for the military in some fashion or another, because you know the trick, and I like that. Good.
Under promise, over deliver. We're hungry.
Brilinya would start towards the ship.
Wait, why walk to the ship? You have a giant god. You could just knock the tree down and we could heal them up or resurrect them. Well, we can't resurrect them, can we? We can just give them some healing potions if we have any of that. That's where we knock them off the tree.
Well, why don't we just see what's going on before we make any rash decisions?
Dunala just shrugs again like, I thought it was also a good plan.
And just a reminder, I don't remember if you mentioned the extremeness of it, but there had previously, up until you finished fighting with them, the ghouls, you had been in the midst of a tropical storm, which had actually caused or assisted in you getting lost the way that you did. But the rains had started to ease up, so everything is quite wet. The ground is quite muddy. There are pieces of dead ghouls. I believe the Vorn, the shield guardian, is actually still standing on one of the ghouls, having crushed it into the muck. I would like perception checks from Vale, Dunala, and Brilinya.
I got a 20.
That's a big old 9 for me.
I have a 3.
Brilinya, as you're kind of looking at how you could make your way up this tree, and Dunala reminds you about the shield guardian, you hear something coming from, you had kind of reoriented after losing your bearings at first, and Vale was able to get a sense of getting you back on track to head towards the goblin, Batiri goblin tribe's village of Yelyark, where Ubo had gone. And it's from that direction that you hear a sound. The distinct sound of breaking branches and something heavy running through the brush. Heavy footfalls. And it's getting closer. You know you only have a few seconds before whatever it is breaks into the clearing. What are you going to do?
Is there any way she can kind of get behind a tree that's nearby?
There are plenty of
sight?
trees nearby.
Yes, that is what she is going to do.
Do you say anything in these couple seconds?
She is going to... I don't think she would. I think that she would hide and just look back at Vale and Dunala and hope that her look of like concern and fear alerts them.
And because they didn't hear it initially, they didn't get this few seconds of warning. As suddenly the brush parts from that direction, and a rain-soaked, mud-splattered reptilian form comes crashing out of the brush. And if not for the familiar look in its eyes, you might think that this was a dinosaur coming crashing through. But you see, running very quickly, Ubo bursts through the brush.
I think the shell is also a good telltale sign that it is not a dinosaur.
Yeah, once he actually breaks through. I was actually going to say the bright orange cloak, but I don't remember if I don't think he still has that. I think he got rid of it.
We burned it.
Yeah. So, Ubo, as you come crashing in, running, what do you say as you just stumble into your party?
It's not just what I say. You guys see me coming from, it has to be 40 or 50 feet away, just out of the brush. You can hear those footsteps falling, and you see the water splattering as the ground is soaked from all the rain that's happening. You see me wide-eyed, just coming at you with a look that none of you have ever seen before. You can see just the water just going everywhere as they go. And I see you, and I just start waving. If you remember Return of the Jedi, when Han Solo places the charges in that bunker and starts running and like waving his hands to go, that's what I'm doing. And I'm saying, go, it's coming, go, just go. And I actually run past them. And I don't know how far I'd get before I actually look back to see if they followed me. I'd say probably 10, 15 feet.
I was going to say, you get about 20 feet past Brilinya, who you didn't even see. She kind of hid herself behind a tree. It's Dunala, Vale, and Salida. And of course, I imagine when Brilinya went behind the tree, I just picture the shield guardian kind of standing behind and just kind of peering out from behind the tree, towering over her. As you get about 20 feet past Brilinya and you just start to run right past Vale, Dunala, and Salida. Vale, what's your reaction to this? You have just a quick couple seconds to react.
Dunala, what you supposed? Oh, hey, look, it's you. But wait, where are you running? Why are you running?
Vale, listen, there is a saying here in Chult. When a turtle is running, there's only 3 reasons. It is mating season that has to use the bathroom or there's something terrible behind it. And Dunala runs behind
Coming through the trees, actually knocking part of the, I just pointed at my screen like you guys could see where I was pointing. The looking on the overlay here, the rightmost, the fore part of the ship. This thing, as it comes through where Ubo was, it crushes the bush that he came out of. Its head smashes into the wood. The blue tarp kind of falls, just kind of billowing down Jurassic Park style, as this giant desiccated Tyrannosaurus Rex lumbers into view. And I need you all to roll for initiative. Perhaps for the last time.
This is crazy, right? I have a +8 to initiative, but I never roll higher than single digits. I have a 13. That's a 5 on the die.
Also, to all you guys and anybody watching, rip your ears if you had headphones on. I apologize. That may have been a little loud.
Got a 15.
Let's see.
I got a 22 for a change.
This alert feat was completely pointless. Let it be known.
What'd you have, Brilinya? 15?
Yep, 15.
Dunala?
13.
Ubo?
5.
And Mike, you need to roll for your Commandant as well.
Oh, that's right. All right, so I got a 22. The Commandant got a 10. No, excuse me, an 11. Yeah.
What'd you have, Drake? A 3?
5.
Oh, 5. Not much better.
Nope.
And let's see. Salida sitting at... Okay. Well, you guys may have lucked out. The lowest... Actually, everybody but Ubo gets to go before the zombie T-Rex. So the order is going to be Vale, Brilinya, Salida, Dunala, the as yet unnamed Commandant, Rexy, and Ubo. So Vale, this horrific, desiccated, you can actually see pieces of its flesh hanging off. As it opens its mouth to roar, you see daylight through parts of its cheek. One of its eyes is just melting down its face. You can see ribs exposed through its otherwise thick, scaly hide. And you get just the faintest glimpse of its some of its internal organs through its chest. Whatever's left of them. What would you like to do, Vale, after you're done vomiting?
Well, for a free action, I'll just turn to Dunala and say, that is the second most terrifying thing I've ever seen. And then, like, do you run? Do you fight it? Do you run? Do you fight it? It's a thing. It's got hit points. That means it can die. If it has stats, we can kill it. Yeah, okay. You know what? I will... how far is it from me?
30 feet.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to attack it. I'm going to attack it And I'm going to burn a point of inspiration. Don't worry. I got lots at home, kids. So, all right. So that will be a shit ton to hit. Yep, that'll be a 25 to hit.
You're not going to have a problem hitting this thing. How are you attacking it?
I'm going to be attacking it with my rapier / divine smite.
All right. So as you roll your damage, tell us what it looks like as Vale contemplates for a moment and then just runs up with his tiny rapier to face off against this huge decaying dinosaur.
Yeah, I'm gonna admit I didn't put a lot of thought in that. So for a second, just pulls out the rapier, kind of looks at this like undead T-Rex, looks back at the rapier, looks at the T-Rex. Fuck it. And then just runs up. And then as I'm kind of going like down to strike it, yeah, I just go in and just hit the sumbitch, and I am going to need to grab. Where's the other one? There it is. So I go in and I strike. So that'll be 4 plus. So it'll be 10 points of piercing damage and 11 points of radiant damage.
How much was that? I was being a smartass in chat to Megan.
That's right. 10 points of piercing and 11 points of radiant. So for a total of 21 points of damage altogether.
All right. Yeah, just for everybody's sake, that's a good question. This T-Rex is 18 feet, or for our Canadian friends, 6 meters.
All right.
All right, you just rush up and do a surprising amount of damage to this thing with your rapier. And
wait.
There's more?
There's more. I get 2 attacks.
All right.
Level 5. So, give me 1 second here, though, really quick. Say, here's a question. With a second attack, I could use... Could I use, cast a spell?
Yeah.
Or do you need to attack?
You want the rules answer?
Well, the rules answer is because you attacked, you have to attack.
Okay, then I'll attack.
Because a spell is an action, and your action is 2 attacks.
Yeah, that's legit. Okay, then I will do that. Attack again. And that is a 21 to hit.
That definitely hits.
And
you've come running up on this thing and you've just got its number.
Yeah. Before it has my number. And then I'm gonna do another divine smite because divine smite. Alrighty. And that's a lot better. So this time it'll be 11 points of piercing damage and 14 points of radiant damage.
I'm not going to do this again just to save my throat, but as you strike at it, it gives another piercing roar. It's kind of shouldering into the pieces of the ship, breaking loose parts of the stern, or the bow of the ship. Brilinya, you've seen Vale rush up on this thing and just start poking at it with his rapier, flashes of radiant light tearing away parts of its decaying flesh. What would you like to do?
Brilinya looks from this T-Rex up into this ruin of a ship. Can she see anyone? Any heads poking out?
You do not really get a good look. Even when you were hearing the voices, you couldn't really get a very good look at anybody. You just heard the one voice.
Well, as far as she's concerned, that there's still people up there and they may need to be helped. And so for the second time, very similar to when Cole died, she just begins to glow and just pulsate in this like ethereal like aura to her, and all of a sudden these golden wings sprout from her back and her face just turns this very like her body just kind of changes into this almost like non-human, almost frightening looking angelic figure, and she is going to just jump up and just fly up to see if she can see people.
What is your fly speed when you have that form?
30 feet.
So I picture it almost like Brilinya scrambling up Vorn and getting that extra 10 feet of height off of his shoulders, leaping in the air and taking on this form as these wings sprout, and you're able to just reach up and grab the edge of the midsection of the ship and kind of hoist yourself up as you just kind of hit the edge of where you'd normally be able to fly distance wise, but it's kind of part of it's hanging a little lower, and you get a little extra height off of Vorn. Is it a full action to cast that or to do that, or is that a bonus action?
Yep, that's a full action.
Okay. And things are still a little bit dark, kind of gray from the storm that had passed. So as Brilinya does this, all of you would kind of sense this as radiant light just kind of is almost sparkling off of the rain, refracting through the raindrops, as suddenly this radiant light just flies upward. Salida is going to hold her ground, and she is going to use her bow to attack. And just like before when you were fighting the, really not all that long ago, a few minutes ago when you fought the ghouls, she whips out a handful of arrows and sticks them in the ground, and she rapidly fires 2 arrows at this T-Rex. One of them it flies and it gets caught in the blue tarp that's falling down, completely missing the thing. The second one is going to hit, and she's going to do... The arrow kind of sticks into a piece of flesh that's already kind of flayed away. It flinches maybe a little bit, but you don't think she did a whole lot of good this round. And that's going to take us to Dunala.
Dunala says to Salida, "Don't waste time firing arrows at it. Instead, find us a way out of here." And as he says that, he reaches into his sash and he pulls out this pouch. He opens the pouch and he pours a line of powder on the back of his hand. He sniffs the powder up, and as he does so, this transparent eyelids covering each eye are pulled back, and his real eyes are revealed for the first time. The whites are black, the iris is jade, and he opens his mouth, and his jaw distends like a snake does, falling almost to his chest, and he throws his head back. And then this anaconda of ebony darkness comes out of his throat and shoots into the air. It is going to spiral around the head of this desiccated T-Rex, and he's using his sorcerer feature to cast a special version of the darkness spell that he can see through. He's casting it just above its head, so it's a 15-foot sphere, so it'll be above where Vale is. He won't be in the darkness. but the head of the actual T-Rex will be in darkness and much of his open body. And I can see through this darkness, and Vale can attack its feet, I suppose. And that's going to be my turn.
That is probably the most badass casting of darkness I have ever witnessed. So you can just go ahead and take a point of inspiration for that. No, that was pretty dope. That's going to take us to the Commandant. As your celestial Commandant.
Commandant has had enough of my stupidity, having to come and save my ass. Commandant runs away. He's like, fuck this. My human wants to die. Let him die. Stupid bipedal mortals. Why the hell do they have to evolve? No, he's gonna go up and attack the T-Rex as well. Let me just double check his.
Question, Jake. And this will be important on my turn too. Since I try to strategically like cast it, so it just blinded it and not us, would we have advantage on hitting it, or would we not?
Other than the fact that you can see through it, that's still the darkness spell, right?
Yeah, but I try to cast it off the ground, so that way like Vale with a Commandant or like Ubo wouldn't be inside of it, just like the T-Rex because it's so big. But
well, I'm going to rule it as blinded. So yes, attack rolls will have advantage, and its attack rolls will have disadvantage.
Dope, thank you.
Since it cannot see, for all intents and purposes, it is blind. So yes, your Commandant can attack with advantage.
Okay, so he's going to make a claw attack. Get a big old swipe in there. And that will be a 20 to hit.
That is going to hit. I don't think you've rolled lower than a 20 on your attacks yet.
Well, he gets a +5 bonus, so good old fitting. And that'll be 8 points of slashing damage. And then I don't really want to make a second attack, but he's got a second attack, so screw it. So he's going to make another attack with his snakes. Ooh, that's not so good. That's a 13 to hit.
That hits.
Oh, of course, because it's like, hey, hit this 20-story building. Doubt you can miss. Or 20-foot building.
Also, did you roll with advantage?
Yes, I did. I got an 8 and a 5. So
Okay, yeah.
All right, so that will be 7 points of piercing damage, and I'm assuming this undead creature is immune to poison damage.
You don't know.
Okay, well, you have to make a DC 12 Constitution saving throw.
The Commandant, no, not the Commandant. The T-Rex doesn't seem to have any reaction to any after effect of the bite. But poison isn't necessarily something you can see taking effect.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
But I mean, given that I didn't have you roll for damage, I'm trying to play coy with that. But yeah, we'll just say it's the poison's not going to have any effect on it.
Sure. Okay, and then that ends its turn.
So we've got the T-Rex is blinded, and we've got a Commandant and a half-elf standing right at its feet. It is going to swing with its tail. And first I'm going to roll at disadvantage to see... actually, first, even it's Vale, odd it's the Commandant. It is a 6, so it's going to... If it hits, it's going to hit you, Vale. That is a... With disadvantage, that is a 19 to hit with the tail.
That hits.
And that is going to be where my D8's at. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3.
I think that's just the little triangle pyramid-shaped ones.
You're lucky. I rolled 2 2s and a 1. So that's 11 points of bludgeoning damage as its tail comes slashing around. It makes, from within the darkness, and Dunala, you're the only one that can see this. As this thing kind of thrashes its head around, it wildly bites. And I'm just going to see. It catches a tree branch. And more chunks of the bow of this ship, this airship, come crashing down as it bites into this. And then, Megan, you're kind of up above this thing, well above it, and you can kind of see this cloud of darkness around it. And Dunala, you can see as it spits out the tree branch, it kind of goes, and you see as it kind of almost like a massive cat hacking up a hairball. With that last, you watch as something crawls out of its throat, now dislodged, pulls itself forward, and a zombie drops to the ground and rises.
I imagine like it fell beside like Vale, and Dunal just like watching. Oh, this is some good magic over here.
Yeah. So Vale, suddenly from above, a humanoid zombie drops, seemingly from nowhere, and lands in front of you.
That is not mine. Dunal will shout to him.
This Dunala, this is the most terrifying thing I've ever seen.
Well played. Ubo, you're finally up.
And so where did this zombie drop?
Anybody that was looking, you would have just seen this zombie drop out of the cloud of darkness around the TX Rex's head, and it basically fell at its own feet next to the Commandant and Vale.
And you would Ubo's probably 20 feet behind everybody now. And seeing that everybody decided to actually engage this creature, Ubo would just kind of, sigh and put his head. He would wipe the mud away from both of those Ankylosaurus gauntlets that he had, and you'd hear a click on one side, then a click on the other, and he would run as fast as he could to there, and he would actually aim because he could only see the legs, right?
Yeah, you pretty much can see the legs and in its body and tail.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, can I see the legs of the zombie?
Oh, you can see the whole zombie.
Okay. Then I want to...
The darkness is 18 feet up.
Okay. Awesome. I'm sorry. I didn't understand that. So my first thing, I want to go after this zombie and just see what I can do just as I come in, just kind of like a flying knee, except with a fist, just like a Superman punch with this gauntlet trying to hit him. It's going to be a 21 to hit.
Yeah, I don't even have to look at the zombie stat block to know that that's going to hit.
Okay. And that's going to be 11 points of damage as I jump in there, and you just hear a crunch as the gauntlet smacks against this thing's skull.
And part of its skull caves in, but it doesn't drop. It staggers a little bit, and it's still standing.
And I come up again with my second attack, and I do, like, as he's staggering, I actually go down and do an uppercut on his chin. That's going to be a 14 to hit.
That's going to hit.
And he's going to do 10 more damage as I come up with an uppercut on this thing's face.
All right, so that's a DC 15. It's 10 damage plus 5. It just makes it. As you crunch it, you actually knock its lower jaw loose, and the zombie drops to a knee. And with its jaw just hanging loose, it goes and pushes itself back up to look
Then
at you.
I'm gonna have to use one key point to do flurry of blows with that last attack, and just hit him twice with those two, and that's gonna be a 20 and a 14.
All right, what does it look like as this zombie refuses to drop, and then you just lay into it a couple more times to kill it?
I imagine this Superman punch comes in and just cracks its head. It staggers back. He goes down like to one knee and goes up. Its jaw loosened. It falls down to a knee, and I'm standing over it, just as big as I am. And it looks, and I just imagine taking both gauntlets, just looking at him, smiling, and just on the top of his skull as his head actually goes down into his chest, and he just falls over.
And this time he does fall over at the feet of the massive T-Rex standing above you. As we are back to the top of the batting order with Brilinya, who's just pulling herself up onto...
I don't know if you saw that in the chat, but Vorn rolled a 1.
Oh, I totally forgot to use Vorn. Were we having Vorn go on your turn?
No.
Or we did. Okay. He rolled a 1 for what? For his initiative? Okay. Well, then it works that he's at the end of the order. Let me write that on here. 8. Okay. Yeah, so you can command Vorn as you've just kind of pulled yourself up on the ship.
Yeah, I think that she would have kind of told him to attack before she jumped off of him to fly up, and so he just starts charging at this T-Rex. And he's going to try and punch it at the leg or at a joint as high up as he can.
Okay.
So that I pre-rolled. That's a 19 and a 25 to hit. Still with advantage, right?
Yes, it's still in the darkness, so advantage.
Yeah. So that is 26 points of damage.
You actually, as Vorn comes in and with its big metal fist kind of punches into this thing, those nearby can hear bones crushing, and you see part of a bone actually break through the skin, splintering, sticking out, but this thing refuses to drop. As now we are back to the top. Brilinya, you've pulled yourself up into the kind of midsection of the ship.
So, Brilinya is going to pull herself up, and she's going to begin searching for people, for survivors, for the voices that she heard up here.
As you kind of pull yourself up into that midsection, you see that you see immediately a couple of human figures, a female and a couple of males that they're looking pretty haggard, weather beaten, worn out. They're kind of huddled under part of a tarp. They've stretched across some broken crates, made a little makeshift lean-to. It looks like a couple of them are wounded. And the woman is kind of leaning forward, and she's got a bandage that covers one eye, and you can see the dried blood on it. As she says, and you recognize this is the voice that had been calling down to you. And she says, "What in the 9 hells is going on down there?"
Well, we were coming up to try and get you, but there's a dinosaur, I think. It's it looks very very unwell. But I'm here to hopefully help you. I'm Brilinya. And she kind of is looking around during this time, kind of distracted, kind of looking for just looking for a way down. And how long have you been up here?
And that's about all the interaction you get in your turn. as this is happening, the battle is still waging down below. It's Salida's turn, and Salida just kind of drops her bow next to the arrows, just giving Dunala this look. Since the last thing he said to her was, "Don't waste your time, just look for a way out of here." And she just kind of gives him a look as she starts running, pulling her 2 scimitars to join the fray with amongst Ubo and Vale. As she comes running in, and she's going to leap over the Commandant and try to take 2 strikes a little further up on this thing. Oh no. So Salida, I rolled a 1 on her athletics check for that move. As she comes running up, she goes to leap over and she slips in the muck, and she goes sliding under the Commandant instead of over it. And as she's sliding along, she just kind of has the presence to slash out at this thing with her scimitars. And I'm just going to roll straight for these 2 attacks, canceling out her advantage. And let's see. She's going to get the 1 attack. She kind of, as she reaches out with 1, it completely misses, just striking at air. But the other one actually slices kind of along the side of the T-Rex's foot. And you see that she opens a pretty good gash in the side of this thing's foot. But she is prone on her back directly underneath the T-Rex. And that's going to take us to...
We skipped Mike.
Oh, I did. Crap. I completely skipped Vale.
Now he's going to kill it with Divine Smite. Watch.
Yeah. Somehow, for some reason, I went to Brilinya as the top of the order.
She's cuter.
So, Vale, you're up.
It's because she's cooler. Like, hey, don't mind me. I'm just an angel who's also a freaking sorcerer. Yeah, I am gonna Divine Smite now that you mentioned it, but I'm gonna Divine Smite at level 2.
Oh, snap.
And now, just a quick question. I assume, do we still have advantage on that?
As long as the darkness is up, you still have advantage on your attacks, and I'm assuming that darkness lasts for probably a minute.
And nobody magic missile the darkness, right? Okay. Yeah, I know, Marquise. I had to. All right. I accept that. Well, I rolled a natural 19 on the die, so
definitely a hit.
Okay, so which one am I using for? So that means it's right. Okay, so that is 11 points of piercing and 19 points of radiant damage.
So 30 total points?
Yarp.
I gotta do some math here.
Frickin' math.
Alright, so
don't worry, it's still up. You guys still have a chance to carve a piece off for yourselves.
Alright, well that was just 1 attack, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna miss the next one. So second attack. Yeah, well, no, 15.
That's
I
a
assume
hit.
15 hits. Yep. And I am not going to do spell on that one. It's just going to be a straight up. And that's another 9 points of piercing damage.
All right, this thing is wavering. You've opened up fresh wounds on its legs and abdomen, and the thing is unsteady on its feet as it now moves to Dunala.
Dunala's jaw wires itself back into its normal position, and his eyes flicker to the darkness that is surrounding this thing. And then only Brilinya would see this, I guess, from her vantage point. Is a snake head of this darkness rises up above everything else, and it snaps out like a cobra, and it begins to hiss. And it's hissing these words in abyssal and draconic, Wanti dialect that Solita would recognize. And as it begins to hiss, this hissing comes from the jungle as well as other snakes join it. And then Dunala snaps his fingers, and they become a chaos bolt of raw force that coalesce around this thing's head and explode. I got 23 to hit for 26 points of damage.
What does it look like as you kill this zombie T-Rex?
Literally, no one can see what happens inside the darkness other than Dunala. But as it dies, the darkness unravels all at once, and then it teeters left and it teeters right, and it falls out of this gloom beside you, Vale. And you might be surprised. You might still be ready to fight, and if the fight, and if not you, maybe Ubo. But then you realize that this thing no longer has a head. And then the darkness fully dissipates, and the chunks of the head fall around you. And Dunala walks up as it falls, and he says to Solita specifically, I told you to find a way out of here, not to go fight the thing. Listen to me next time.
Vale and Ubo, make perception checks.
19.
7.
Ubo, as Dunala says this to Solita, and you see where this T-Rex has just kind of crashed headless to the ground, you see both where the wounds were opened at its gut and where its torn, jagged neck is. You see the flesh pulsing and rippling. And specifically at its gut, you see as first 1, then 2, then 4, 6 sets of hands, humanoid hands, begin tearing at the flesh as zombies are crawling their way out of this T-Rex's dead body. And just suddenly, 2 zombies just kind of are expelled almost in like a death spasm of the throat from the jagged remnants of this T-Rex's head. 2 are spit out, and 3 more burst open in a spray of bile and black ichor as 5 zombies are now before your group. And the zombies will move on the T-Rex's turn. So Dunala, I don't know if you have any action left after that.
Dunala sees this and he just observes. He's a bonus action, but I won't use it.
So then it's going to be the Commandant's turn, Vale.
All right. Well, so I think the Commandant will kind of pad up, jump onto, I guess, the corpse of the T-Rex and just begin to slash at these hands.
They've already burst out.
Oh, all right. Well, you know what? I think the... So is there one nearby?
There's 5 nearby.
All right, well, he's going to jump in there and he's going to attack one of them.
All right.
And that's only a 9, so I really doubt that's going to hit.
It absolutely hits. It's a... these zombies, actually, now that they've kind of crawled out of this thing, you realize that these zombies are their blue skin almost made them unrecognizable, but their size and their features are recognizable, as these 5 goblins are BADASSERY goblin zombies.
Well then, luckily, I don't discriminate in murdering zombies. So, oops, that's the wrong D8, you silly bugger. So that is 9 points of slashing damage as the Commandant just kind of rears up into its hind legs for just a moment, just takes a swipe out to the side of the head of this BADASSERY goblin zombie.
Its ear, its large goblin ear, and part of its nose are ripped off as the Commandant swipes, and then it turns, leering with half flesh, half bone face.
And the Commandant is going to make another attack, this time with its snakes, even though poison. God damn it. And that's going to be a 16 to hit.
That's, of course, a hit.
And then that'll be another 5 points of piercing. And let's be honest, the undead don't have to worry about poison damage. No, so we're just not going to worry about
They
that.
are poison. The zombies begin kind of closing in on all of you. Dunala, you had walked up on the group. It basically, at this point, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's actually 5 targets with Salida and the Commandant there. So you're each getting attacked. Vale, a 7's going to miss you. Dunala, does a 15 hit? I didn't hear your head rattle. Was that a yes?
So no, I was looking at my AC. Yeah, it hits.
Okay. So Dunala, one of the zombies just throws itself against you, dealing 3 points of bludgeoning damage. Ubo, one of them throws itself at you and bounces off of you, doing no points of damage. One is going to attack Salida. It slams into Salida, almost knocking her off her feet, doing 5 points of bludgeoning damage. And then the one that was attacked by the Commandant, it rushes at the Commandant, and that's going to be a modified 20 to hit. So your Commandant is going to take 7 points of bludgeoning damage as these zombies just start lashing out at all of you. And now, Ubo, it's your turn. 5 goblins in close proximity to you. Or 5 goblin zombies. One that you're immediately engaged with.
I'm just going to use my standard attacks as we go, which will be 3 if one of them hits. The first one's going to be a 14 to hit.
That's going to hit.
Hold on. Well, you want me to roll each damage each time, or you want me to just do it all together? I'll just split it up.
Well, if you're, it depends on whether you kill one and move to a new target. Okay. So you might want to roll damage.
The first one's going to be 11 points of damage.
It's still standing.
Going to hit that same one. That's a 22 to hit.
That's a hit.
That's going to be 7 points of damage.
All right. It's barely clinging to life.
And I'll do the bonus. I'll do the bonus action for one more, and that's going to be a 20 to hit.
That's going to hit. Basically, you guys are targeting 8 on these things.
Okay, and that's another 8 points of damage. So
another Ubo specializing in taking out zombies today.
And you just see him. It's just he's punching him in the gut, so he bends over. He's hitting him in the face, so he stands up, and then sees him kind of staggering. He just gives a hook around the side, and I just want to try to start taking these heads off of all these zombies. So I'm trying as hard as I can to knock these things heads off as I'm fighting. And
with those powerful attacks, you absolutely take its head off. back to the top of the order. 4 zombies remain. The real top of the order, it's Vale.
It's Vorn.
All right.
Oh, wait, we forgot Vorn. Good Lord.
No.
You guys have 3 NPCs in your party of 4. It's throwing me. Vorn.
Vorn is just gonna start punching zombies. With a 22 and an 18 to hit
yep.
Notion that is.
for 20 points of damage, as he's just kind of.
Oh, well, shoot, I can't beat that DC. The DC is the damage plus 5. That's a con? Yeah, even on a nat 20, I can't beat that. So, yeah, Vorn takes another zombie out, just pummeling it into the ground, into zombie goblin paste. And Vale, it is now your turn. 3 goblin zombies remain, 2 of which have not been struck.
Okay. I will. All right. I will strike the one that that my Commodon had attacked, and that is an 18 to hit, which hits, and that is 8 points of piercing damage.
Which one were you attacking? One of the ones that hadn't been hit.
The one that my my Commodon attacked, and mucked up.
Okay, and you did 8 points of damage to it.
That is correct.
Its guts are ripped open, spilling out of it, but it holds on, just clinging to that last little bit of life.
Well, then I'm gonna attack it again. Give it that little poke check in the schnoz. And that'll be a 10 to hit. So that.
Yep.
Can't believe I rolled that.
So yeah,
kind of scary.
You don't even need to roll damage. As long as you hit it, you're able to finish it off.
Okay. And so as it just kind of like staggers there, like trying to like pull its entrails back in, I just kind of I kind of take a side step beside it and just kind of like jab my rapier through its eyeball. Just let it like go right through the like kind of rotten skull and just kind of just pull it out and just go to the next one.
All right.
Which I assume if I've got a move action, I can just get like move up to the next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Yep, that one's dead. There's 2 remaining. So you're just moving up to it, so you're ready for the next. Brilinya. Kind of while all of this is happening, and you're kind of leaning over and commanding the shield guardian with your control amulet, the woman is saying to you, "This was the Star Goddess, and we were delivering supplies, and we were attacked by these giant bird-like dinosaurs. They tore apart our airbag, and we crashed. It was at least a week and a half ago." Give me a perception check.
Who?
Brilinya. As you were do it at advantage because you were already were kind of looking around, specifically trying to find like a way down or something.
Well, the first one was a 3, so a 13 is better.
As you're kind of looking around, and she's saying this about delivering supplies, you see that the 2 other figures that are with her, you catch sight as one of them just kind of moves a ratty blanket that was partially covering his legs, and you catch a glint of You catch a glint of steel and gold as he just kind of moves, trying to like throw a blanket over something shiny.
All right, well, let's focus on getting you down.
I don't want to go down there right now. And one of the other guys speaks up. You said there were dinosaurs down there. We can hear what's going on down there. And all the zombies. Yeah, I've got no desire to go down there.
All right, well, let's start with this first. Which one of you is the most injured? She kind of looks, and she's kind of, this was more of like a rhetorical question. She's kind of looking at who is. She's going to cast Cure Wounds.
It looks like the woman who was doing most of the talking is the most injured.
So Brilinya would just go up and kind of put her hand on this woman's shoulder, and immediately the scars on her arms begin to like move and change and glow, and the glow kind of goes from her forearm down her hand and into this woman's shoulder, and almost like these ethereal veins kind of go and spread throughout her body, and her wounds begin to heal. And I heal her for 11. And I also would just simply look at another person, and they too would begin to have these like ethereal veins just kind of pulsating down their body, and begin to heal as well for another 9.
All right. And she's just kind of looking at you, and she makes she kind of just pulls back for a second, and then just kind of, oh, well, thank you. But the other person that you healed with just a look, he kind of looks over, and he makes a symbol, almost like a triangle or something. It's hard to quite tell. It's the equivalent of like a Catholic kind of sign of the cross. He's making some kind of religious symbol, either confirming what you did or viewing you as an abomination. You can't quite tell. As we're going to move to Salida, who's going to, where these goblins had kind of burst out of this thing, which had kind of fallen around her. She just clambers over part of the T-Rex, covered in mud and gore, and she's just going to take first one slash, and that is going to hit, and then she takes another slash at a different one, with the 2 that haven't been hit yet. So she does 5 points to the one and 5 points to the other as she slashes at both of these zombies. And Dunala. 2 zombies remain.
Dunala grabs the head of the zombie that like threw itself at him, and he begins speaking to it in this sickening Wanti dialect. Like it sounds like a mixture like this du shakaru sarakdiha. And what he's saying to, which only Salida would understand, I suppose, is he's telling it how ugly it is, how much it disgusts him, how vile goblins are, and how they're a blight on the face of Chult. And he takes out this dagger as he's speaking. And I got a 16 plus 5 to hit, which is definitely going to hit. It's going to be 7 points of damage as he begins like basically prying the teeth out of this zombie golem's skull. It would be torture if it was alive, but it's not alive, as he just shit talks it in this Wanti dialect the whole time.
Okay. You did 7 points of damage to it. Yeah, it's just kind of flailing there as you're pulling at this thing, just popping teeth out of it. Commodon, Vale's Commodon. Dunala is doing a little jungle dentistry on one of these zombie zomblins. Nope. Damn it.
Good night, everybody.
Zombie Zoblins at it again.
Zombie
Oh,
zoblin.
man.
Zombie goblin. Oh my gosh. My dyslexia is showing. Zombie goblins. There's still one. Salita hit both of them. Both of them have been wounded. One of them's basically engaged with they're kind of in the midst of your group, really. So the Commandant can strike at either or both of these zombie zomblins.
Right. Is it possible? Now I don't know if you do flanking bonuses or not, but is it possible to get to attack the one that is currently engaged? I don't know if that's
I don't normally get into flanking, but you guys are basically surrounding these things, so I'm going to say yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you couldn't flank these zombies anymore if you tried.
Well, that sounds like a challenge.
I'd like to get even more around it.
Have Brill like float over the zombie just to flank it even more.
All of a sudden, Vorn comes towering over top of it. So yeah.
So I'll so he'll or she'll really ask. Anyway, the Commandant's going to attack the goblin that's engaged with in hand to hand with Salita. Right. Just kind of come up behind it and attack it. And that is a 13 to hit.
Yep, that's definitely a hit.
All right. So, you know what? That's okay. I don't need that D6.
Heard that roll across those new floors just fine.
Yeah. Ding, 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 ding. A big bonus for scratch resistance. Am I right? So, it's a 5 plus 3. So that is 8 points of slashing damage as it comes in behind and just takes a huge swipe across. Maybe add another ear to its collection. And then it'll make a second attack with its snakes. It's going to take a bite. And that is, was it 7 and 5? So that's 12 to hit.
Yeah, that's a hit.
And so I know the poison doesn't do jack. But, there we go. So that's another 5 points of piercing damage.
You see it struggling as the snakes are just latching onto it, trying to resist, and then just the snakes kind of pull apart and the thing drops. It failed its con save for Undead Fortitude. The one is going to make a weak attempt at Dunala to strike Dunala with its tiny goblin fist. And it's basically like getting hit by a 5-year-old that's just like, ugh. It doesn't really do anything. Because that was a 5. Ubo. One zombie remains, having its teeth pried out by Dunala. You're going to let Dunala have his fun, or are you just going to pop this thing's top?
Sorry, Marquise just wrote something. Dude, don't do that to me. I think watch him. I would walk over next to him and I would watch what he's doing, because I don't think I've actually been introduced to this guy.
Dunala would probably stop and he would just look at you, say, "Oh, nice to meet you, Torto. They have spoken very highly of you."
And I would say, I would just kind of look confused and just nod. And I would just kind of reach back, but not really hard, just reach back and punch straight into this thing's face, exactly where he's pulling, seeing if I can knock some more teeth out. Let me roll for that. Hold on.
All right.
That's going to be a 21 to hit, so I'm sure I can.
Yep.
And as he hits, let's see, it's going to be 8 points of damage. And Jake, did I knock any teeth out?
Let's see. I'm going to roll. Yeah, you see about a dozen teeth go flying.
Whatever one's dropped on the ground, I'm gonna like put my hand up on his like body and reach down and pick up the teeth, and I'm actually gonna look over at Denala and say, "Here, this is faster."
Ooh, you are a man of culture, Tortor. I appreciate it.
And you basically knocked the top of this thing's head off, like right at the jaw. So Dunala's still standing there holding it by the throat, teeth prying from the lower jaw, as you just kind of reach over him and just go pop, and right across, just sheer across, teeth go flying. This thing is dead.
I would say, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. My name is Dunala, by the way. We have not been formally introduced. And as he's speaking, you would see the transparent eyelids slide back in, so it's like human eyes again.
And Ugo with that would just kind of nod, and he would look kind of at everybody, and he said, "What happened?" And he would point at the shield guardian. "How did that happen? I haven't been gone that long."
48 hours is a lot of time in Chult. What can we say? We move very quickly, or rather, your friends move very quickly. Dunala is a new experience. And then he puts the dagger away as he's speaking.
Vale, are you all right?
I'm a little hurt, but be all right.
Why didn't you run? There was a giant undead dinosaur chasing me. I said run.
Run. Oh, run. All right. I thought you meant like run him down.
Oh, okay. That's
run
what you
him through. You see? No, see.
You would see Ubo kind of catch eyes with Denal and just kind of roll his eyes, and I'd look at Vale and I'd say, "Where's Brill?"
I don't know.
Salida
Brill?
Salida goes walking by you, Ubo. She kind of pushes mud and water-soaked locks of hair back, and she just kind of puts a hand momentarily on your chest and says, "It is actually quite good to see you, Turtle. And you should know," as she starts walking past, kind of dragging along, and she heads over to where she dropped her bow. She's kind of wiping gore off of her swords, picking up her arrows and her bow. "You should know by now that these fools never run from anything. Your friend, Brilinya, she's up there."
And Dunala would point at the massive ball of light that is Brilinya with her wings still out and healing people above us. And he would say, "I don't know why you even asked the question. You can see her from 3 miles away."
And you would see Ubo just kind of wipe the mud and grossness off of his face and kind of throw a down look and go. And you would see his jaw just kind of open, just in awe of what he's seeing. But he wouldn't say anything else.
And Salida says, "In case anybody was wondering, I have no intention of cutting this dinosaur up for any kind of food." And we're going to cut up into the tree, into the boat where Brilinya has just healed a couple. You can just start to hear the last remnants, and as you're kind of peering over, you see that the T-Rex is down. The last couple zombies are down.
Ah, there we go. I knew that, my friends. All right. And I think that her eyes would flash this quick blue, and the shield guardian would begin walking over until he was just under the opening of where Brilinya kind of is looking out of.
Okay.
Well, unless you have any better ideas, maybe I don't have much time, I don't think, as this. Maybe I can take you guys down one by one, and you can be caught by my friend down there.
There's two more in the stern section of the ship.
All right.
You would really only have time to bring probably one of them down, and you'd have to do it now before your time's going to run out.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're going to do it through flight. Otherwise, you'll have to find another means to... you can tell, even with your bit of healing, they are haggard looking. They are exhausted, and they do not look like they will be able to get down under their own power.
Yeah. Would Brilinya be able to return up, and then would that be over, or could she make one trip down?
You'd have enough time to get one down and come right back up.
Okay. That's what she's going to do. She's going to probably take who seems to be the leader, the woman. I can take you down, and then you can talk to my friends on the ground, and we'll figure something out.
She quickly casts a look over to the one kind of gruff-voiced one who was also injured that you healed. And she says, Brax, go with her now, and kind of pushes him towards you. And as you start to take him, if you do, she just says, I cannot leave the ship until my crew is all safely on the ground.
Yeah, Brilinya would nod, very quickly, knowing time is of the essence, and just kind of grab him. I can imagine she just like hooks him, hooks her arm under his shoulders, like in his armpits, and just kind of bear hugs him, and then just kind of flies off and just lowers him down, dangling, until he kind of meets the upward facing arms of the shield guardian of Vorn.
What's your strength?
It's going to be more of a controlled fall than a yeah.
Give me a dexterity check on Vorn.
Okay, that's an 18.
So as you step over the edge, you realize this guy is, even though you have the ability to fly, it doesn't enhance your strength, and you kind of plummet a little bit, and you're kind of flapping your ethereal wings, just trying to slow your descent. But Vorn, with your kind of controlling him, is able to reach up and kind of grab as you're descending and kind of just pull him out. And then suddenly you just, with a buffet of your wings, you just kind of lurch upward again. And you're able to land on the deck just as the radiant, glowing, and ethereal wings vanish.
And she kind of drops to one knee, feeling kind of exhausted. All this light and everything just kind of draining from her body. But she stands up and just makes sure that the guy is all right, and that Vorn is putting him down.
So Vorn has just suddenly set this human male down in the midst of all of you. He's very haggard looking, and Brilinya just suddenly flies back up, and he just kind of looks around at all of you. Most of you are soaked in zombie dinosaur gore, dead zombies and dead T-Rex everywhere. And he just kind of looks around. He looks up at the shield guardian, and he just goes, hi.
Hello, my name is Tunala. These are my comrades, Salida, Ubo, and Vale. We have saved your life. Have a good day.
And he kind of looks back up at the tree, and he's like, I'm not entirely certain that I'm not dead up there, and this is just some afterlife hallucination.
This would be a terrible afterlife, as there are zombie guts everywhere. So if you have died, you have surely went to hell.
In a very light way, if Ubo's standing close, Ubo's going to take just one step towards this guy, reach out his hand, and not hard to hurt him, but he's going to slap him. And he's going to say, "You're not dead."
I'm not one to argue with, well, any of you. My name is Brax. There's at least 5 of us that survived this crash. We were on a supply run when these giant dinosaur bird things started attacking our airbag, and we just crashed into the trees. There was nothing we could do about it. And we've been up there we lost track. I think it's been at least a 10-day. It's been at least 4 days since we ran out of fresh food, and we were on the last of our water. It was even difficult to collect some of the rainwater, but that storm helped a little bit. And you can see he's struggling to even hold himself up.
Dunala throws him his water skin and a piece of hardtack. Eat up, drink up. We'll get your friends down sometime between now and the next 24 hours, as promised.
He eagerly takes the water. Thank you. Your friend, that's quite incredible what she's able to do.
Be careful, some of us may get jealous. And he looks to Vale, and then he looks away quickly.
Roll my eyes.
And he just kind of looks around. He's eagerly, more eagerly than you've probably seen anybody bite into hardtack. He's devouring the hardtack. He's guzzling the water. And because you're all in such close proximity, he would, you'd be able to see that he's kind of casting furtive glances around, almost kind of like as it's like he thinks he's being coy, but he's just kind of, as he's drinking the water, he's just kind of looking around, almost like he's surveying the wreckage of all of the crates and everything else that fell to the ground. And I'm gonna pop back up. Brilinya, what are you doing up top now? That you no longer have wings.
Brilinya kind of takes a few deep breaths. All right. Well, that's one, but that was short-lived. Whew. What, any ideas?
My name is Thassalandra Bravewing, and I was the captain of the Star Goddess, the woman says. I thank you for what you and your friends are doing. We would have, and we did try to get down, but with the roaming undead, we initially thought it best to stay up here. We had some ideas, but the more time that passed, the less we were physically able to carry them out. I think if you have rope, and there's some rope still amongst the rigging and stuff here, maybe you could help. We could rig some kind of a sling with some of the canvas from the gas bag, and maybe you and your friends could work together and you could lower us down.
Brilinya would nod.
Try to climb, but I lack the strength, and
she just holds up her hand. It's all right. It's all right. We'll find a way. Let me let me go. And she would kind of go out and look and see kind of where this rigging is, where the rope is, and just set out to start gathering all the needed things, being very careful not to look down.
So, yeah, you're able. It's going to take you a few minutes to kind of cut loose enough of the tarp and some of the rigging and stuff. There's enough rigging up there that you're able to actually find probably a couple 100 feet of rope, plus the tarp and stuff. So the rest of you, while you're down on the ground, you see and hear Brilinya kind of moving around up top. You can hear the creaking. They're far enough up that you can't really hear any conversation. So after a moment has gone by, do any of you say anything up to Brilinya or try to attempt to go up there, or are you going to talk to Brax?
I think I would actually walk over to the thing because I don't think Brill knows that I'm here. And I would just kind of, would I see her from the ground, Jake? Where she was standing?
Only if maybe once or twice you catch a glimpse as she kind of moves towards the edge of the railing as she's unwrapping some of the rigging.
I think I'd go just kind of right under and just kind of yell up, "Hey, Brill, it's Ubo. Do you need help? And when did you learn to fly?"
And Brill can hear this, right?
Yeah. It's normal conversation, doesn't really carry, but he's calling up to you, so you absolutely can hear.
So you just see this head pop out quickly, but then immediately go back in and just, oh, no, that was a bad idea. Hi, Ubo. I'm very glad you're safe. I will need your help in just a moment.
Why don't you fly?
Well, I can't right now.
We need to talk when you get down, but I'll help.
Okay. I'm a bit busy, and you just see just like this, maybe like you just hear this sound of like rocks kind of falling, and maybe the sound of her like tripping a bit as she's trying to finagle her way through all this rigging and the trees and stuff.
And since it's probably cloudy and stormy still, Jay, but you're gonna see Ubo like just staring up there and just kind of, putting his hands up, just looking. As long as it takes, he's just going to be very focused on that, just kind of oblivious to everything else.
Yeah, there's still rain coming down, and as you're looking up, you would realize, Ubo, that if you wished to, though you do not possess the power of flight, you could probably, these tree branches are gnarled and twisted enough that you could probably, with a little bit of effort, climb your way up to where the ship is. Any of you could attempt that.
I want to do that.
Then I just need a athletics check to
16.
Oh yeah, you don't have any problem. You're able to kind of stretch out, and maybe your claws are kind of helping a little bit as you find purchase in the bark and on the branches, and haul yourself up. And
I imagine that I would plop down, like just kind of right in front of a Brill, like, "Hi."
Yeah, and it's taken Ubo enough time that it's about the time you've got all your supplies gathered and you're just kind of rigging together a crude sling, Brilinya.
Ah, great. Yes. Hand me that rope over there, if you would, please.
This one?
No, over on your left.
Okay, and I would go get it. And I mean, he would be oblivious. He has no idea what's going on. This is the most awkward exchange Ubo and Brill have ever had, because he has no idea what's going on. He just wants to be there. He feels like he has to be there, but he doesn't know what to do.
And most awkward says something, because they've had a lot of awkward exchanges in the past.
Well, and they haven't seen each other for a couple days. Ubo kind of left under slightly strained circumstances. So while Brilinya and Ubo are awkwardly rigging things up to bring the other survivors down, Vale, Dunala, are you engaging in any conversation with Brax, or are you just kind of keeping an eye on him?
I'm hurt a lot. That tail hit, like I could feel the ribs just kind of like trying to settle back into their spots. So I'm gonna cast Lay on Hands, and as like pretty much the last first level spell that I can cast before rest. So I will do that, or cast Cure Wounds, or Lay on Hands, excuse me. So yeah, never mind. That's not a dirt.
Yes, point healing. Dunala is watching this guy Brax. At first, he's just counting how many sips of water he takes from the water skin, and once he gets to 36, he starts looking where Brax is looking. And every time he looks at a crate, Dunala's going to get up and walk to that crate and use his dagger to open it.
So Brax is kind of, he's just taking these quick sips, and his eyes are just kind of flicking. Give me a perception check.
Gotcha. Let's look here. Let me put up my dashboard. I'm going to use inspiration on that. It's going to be an 18.
So, amongst all of the crates and barrels and things that have fallen around the debris of the cargo, where you initially saw the ghouls and their bodies are still kind of laying there, probably about maybe a dozen or so are still sort of intact. And maybe another half dozen are broken. And as you're looking around, kind of watching where he's looking, he's kind of, it's like he's trying to just casually just look in that general direction, but you're catching his eyes rest in a couple key locations. And you notice that all of the crates have markings on them of general supplies, food, sundries, textiles, but there's a couple of the crates where his eyes, just in those couple seconds that you were watching, seemed to land, that have additional, just part like almost like a serial number. Everything's kind of almost like wood burned in. They have a serial number that has a instead of just being numbers, like a 4-digit number, there's a letter on the end in a red ink.
I'm gonna go open that bastard up. I'm gonna use my my Ukwa spear actually instead of my dagger to do so.
He very pointedly looks the other way as you walk over, and is just kind of looking around at all of the dead bodies. But as he's looking, he's kind of looking with his head, but with his eyes, he's watching what you're doing. And you're able to pop this crate open. It's a mid-sized crate. You know, it's probably about 3 cubic feet, or 3 feet, a 3 foot cube, not 3 cubic feet. I don't know math. Maybe it is 3 cubic feet. It's a square. It's a cube. It's a crate.
A freaking box.
Good Lord, it's a box. That's the word I wanted. So you're able to pop the lid open. And do you take a moment to read what's on it before you pop it, or do you just pop it?
Yeah, I'll read what's on it too.
So this box, it says textiles, but the writing is upside down, and you're actually popping the bottom of the crate. And that's why when you pop it open, you pop open directly into the false bottom of this crate. And you see straw, and in amongst the straw, you see some burlap that peeking out from the burlap. There's about 3 items. You see bright, shiny gold.
He takes a handful of gold and he lifts and he says, "These are very nice textiles. They do things different across the ocean than here in Chult."
And what you actually grab hold of is it looks like a Middle Eastern style lamp, like an oil lamp, like a classic genie lamp almost. You reach into that gold and you just grab it's like pristine gold shiny oil lamp.
Dunal's gonna rub it, and as he rubs it, he's talking to Brax, saying, "Now, how exactly do you wear these over there, from where you come from?"
What? I have no idea what that is.
Well,
That should be textiles. That should
you've
be.
been staring at it pretty hard, my friend. Brax, was it? You can't just drink my water and lie to me. That's rude in Chult.
That's a well. Let's look. We were bringing the supplies. All I knew is that there were blankets in some of these boxes. There's food items in others. There's
If you
farming
lie to me
implements.
again, I will do to you what I did to that goblin. And he points to the teeth. Well, actually, he reaches to his sash and he just drops like a handful of like nasty teeth beside him. Pick your next words carefully, Mr. Brax.
He looks around at all of you, and he just kind of, and you can see it. I mean, he's got that look of somebody that hasn't eaten much in days. You know, that kind of sallow, sunken look. And he goes, "Yeah, all right. We're smugglers. Even the best smugglers get caught sometimes in unexpected scenarios. So sue us."
Well, I don't need to sue you. I have all of your money right here, don't I? And he just keeps rubbing the ramp as he leans against the crate and stares at Brax to see how he reacts.
I can't resist this. I want you to roll me a D100. And I'm going to tell you there is a 1% chance
Alright.
that there's a genie in this lamp.
Can I use my other point of inspiration on this? I really want to.
Nope, not on a D100.
I have 4. You can use all of mine.
Not on a D100. So in the way, just a reminder, I rolled my D100. You need to roll this number exactly.
I got a 97.
Dude, I rolled a 93.
You
came so close.
God. I was so close. I wanted the genie and flip so bad, dude.
Oh my gosh. As soon as
So then we'd have 4 NPCs in a 4-person party.
Well,
Yeah.
well,
One just
see how
happens
much
to
you
be
know
a
about
powerful
genies.
magical being.
Knowing that this is
In
no
a
longer a
living space.
badass genie holding lamp, Dunala just puts it back into the crate because it's worthless.
Oh, I just randomly said that it was a lamp too, and I saw Marquise's eyes light up.
Well, you didn't read the chat. We've been talking about rubbing the lamp for the last 5 minutes.
Oh.
So
You guys break me too much if I read too much of that. I've decided the side chat is for you guys just to talk smack. So
yeah, you don't want to read it right now.
So, yeah. So Brax has basically just admitted to you that they're a smuggling operation. Ubo and Brilinya up top, you're able to kind of get things rigged up, and with Thessalandra kind of coaching you a little bit, you're able to use a sturdy section of the ship's own section of rigging and blocks, and you're able to put together a pretty crude but effective block and tackle setup that will allow you with very little strength effort to be able to lower the individuals down from this section.
Yeah, I can do that. With this one spring.
Thessalandra says to the other guy that was up there, this is... Come, Veliad. Let them take you down. No, it's okay. I will look after him. And that's when you realize there is a third human male that was kind of under the edge of the blanket there that's been laying very still, and he's not looking very good. Veliad reluctantly goes over to Ubo, keeping his eyes over on the other figure. And he climbs into the sling and lets Ubo start lowering him down. And
Brilinya would go over to this guy who's laying and just check to see if he's alive, breathing.
Give me a medicine check.
Okay. 17.
Thessalandra, kind of standing next to you, she says, I don't know. Well, I don't know what kind of powers it is that you have. But I've encountered someone similar to you once before. Nehar was injured in one of our transport operations. When she says Nahar, she indicates this man. And a young man with powers very similar to yours brought Nahar back from the dead. He was dead. We all saw it. But he has lived a strong and powerful life for the last couple of years. But ever since we crashed, he's been getting worse beyond his injuries. He really wasn't even hurt that bad in the crash. Yet he seemed to be the worst off of all of us. And you could see, Brilinya, particularly with this information and what you know, with this man having been resurrected, he's completely under the effects of the death curse. And though there's no other signs of injury, he is clearly about to die.
And she would know that no healing magic would do anything, right? With
Correct.
Under the effect of the death.
Even if you could, basically, you've surmised that any healing you could administer would bump up against the last remaining bit of life force. In mechanical terms, he's basically got 1 hit point left.
Despite that she knows it probably won't do much, she's still going to kind of lay her hands on him, and just this little bit of healing comes out just for 4 hit points. I will explain more later of what he's dealing with, the death curse. I don't know if you know anything about that, but hopefully he will have enough to make it down to the ground.
Let us hope so. And as you administer this healing, it's the equivalent of if you pour a little bit of water into very dry ground. The dry ground immediately absorbs it, and then there's no sign of the water even having been there. Let us hope so. Nehir and Veliad is Veliad's husband. There are still 2 more.
Yes.
Radas and Falks are on the stern. Please, can we try to get to them?
I will go, yes. And she looks to Ubo. Make sure these last people get down.
So
where are you going?
I'm gonna go to the stern, see if those people are still alive there.
Okay, you call me if you need anything.
And she smiles and she just says, I'm so glad you're safe. And she would just kind of leave.
And as she turned, Ubo would open his mouth to say something and kind of raise his hand, but then realize he has to keep both hands on the rope and just go back to what he was doing.
So, for the sake of just kind of moving it along, you're able to, in similar fashion, you're able to kind of get to the stern section. It rests a little lower and tilts down low enough that you actually find you're able to rig some of the tarpaulin up, almost like a slide, like an emergency exit slide. and help the other two. They're both humans. They're equally exhausted, in bad shape. And they are very grateful for your assistance. Ubo, you help Thessalandra get Nahar loaded up, and then you're able to lower. Thessalandra kind of watches as Brilinya is getting the other two down, and then she allows you to lower her down. As everyone is kind of finally on the ground, Veliad and Nahar. Veliad is kind of now cradling Nahar, his head in his lap. And Nahar is just, he just, you can see that it's that last little bit of life. And Brilinya, you kind of get back on the scene just as this man you tried to give a little bit of life force to, his husband is holding him as he's just kind of rocking and stroking his hair. And you can see Nahar is kind of trying to look up at him. And he's trying to speak. And he can't get any words out. He's too weak to even speak. But he turns his head. And he looks at you, Brilinya. And you see the faintest hint of a smile at the corner of his mouth. And then he weakly, using the last little bit of his strength, he reaches up to Veliad and kind of pulls him close. And he whispers something in Veliad's ear. And then in Veliad's arm, you watch as Nahar kind of goes limp. Veliad gently kisses Nahar's forehead, lays him down, looks up at you, Brilinya, and kind of smiles, and he says, he said he was okay to leave this world, knowing that he had been touched by an angel. And that's where we're going to end.
Well done.
Wow, I got a little misty-eyed there, and I didn't even know until that moment that Veliad and Nahar were a thing, and that just kind of all happened with the... It's actually your fault, Megan, because you tried to heal this nearly dying man, and... Anyway, yeah, so you've kind of rescued the crew of the Star Goddess. You survived, in part because of the Commandant, the Shield Guardian. Actually, a big thanks goes to your resident Paladin for those divine smites on that, which I forgot to throw up the image, no pun intended, of why is my T-Rex not showing?
Never mind.
Stop it, Drake.
Is that what you call it?
Here we go. I forgot to throw that art up during
Megan,
the
you
combat.
missed me.
But if you look closely, you can just see the zombies climbing out of that thing's mouth. Yeah. So that was episode 21, Rex and Effects. You've got a crew that some of you now know is a smuggling crew that you have rescued. Mechanically, this crew has 4 levels of exhaustion. They're in pretty bad shape. So we will pick up next week with episode 22.
They will be very useful slaves going ahead.
I sense there may be some disagreement between Dunala and Ubo again.
Listen, Ubtao is primarily a god of... Nah, never mind. I won't go there. I'll leave it at that.
So I do want to real quick give a huge shout out to Josh, What You Looking At, who just subscribed for the 4th month in a row to Mini Terrain Domain. So if you're watching the tail end there, What You Looking At, thanks for stopping by. greatly appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the channel, and thanks to everybody else who tuned in tonight. We had a few of the usuals and a couple new people stopping by, and of course, a huge thank you to the 4 amazing players that I have been blessed with these past 21 episodes. Mike the Piper, Marquise, Megan, and Drake. Thank you so much for bringing what you bring to these characters and making this so enjoyable. Even if, Marquise, every 6 sessions you are tired of your character and you want to move on. That said...
Okay. Listen, we can kill him every time. I'll help. Every time.
That said...
But let's make him roll a random one next time.
We're level 6.
Speaking of rolling, I want you all to roll your hit die and add your con modifier to determine your increase in hit points as you are leveling up to level 6.
Sick. Let's see. What am I? I'm a sorcerer. What's my con?
My fists are now magical. I'm just saying. And as a turtle, Sun Soul, I can do burning hands. I'm just saying.
You never used the Sun Soul powers. What's that matter?
He's used it.
Just a little bit. Listen,
once.
Marquise, this is the first time I actually hit something in like 2 months. So
true.
So
I got max. I got +8.
How many hit points did you roll there, Ubo?
I have a total of 52 now.
How'd you do, Brilinya? I know you got screwed on hit points last time.
Yeah. Well, this time I rolled a 7, so not bad.
All right. How'd you do, Mike?
I rolled a 6, so I'm going to add 8 to my
nice. And what'd you say you were at? You got a max 8 there?
No, I got 1 below max. I got a +8, so I'm at 44 now.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys all turn level 6, so some of your classes, if not all of them, have new features that are kicking in. And for those that are watching or curious, we're using a milestone leveling system, and I'm playing very loosey-goosey. I'm kind of using the alternate milestone system in Xanathar's guide, but I'm not quite following that. I'm letting certain larger scenarios speed up that. But once you guys hit level 5, it does take a little longer to level up between each one. So it'll be a few more sessions before we see level 7. But clearly, I need to kill off your shield guardian or throw 1d6 zombie T-Rexes at you or something. I'm going to pull out the Draco Lich, start looking at the Tarask stat block.
If you threw maybe 3 or 4 zombie T-Rexes, then Dunala might stop yawning and consider it a challenge. Until then...
All right, Marquise.
See what you just did there, Marquise. I know him well.
All right, Marquise. You just poked the bear.
Bring me certain death or bring me nothing, Jake.
See, it's posturing because I know you want me to kill Dunala.
I don't want you to kill Dunala. I just want to be in situations where there's an 80% chance of Dunala dying.
Hey,
I like him more if he survives. And
you had a 1% chance of a genie, and you came within 4 of that actually happening. I was pretty impressed.
If you had given me inspiration, oh man, that genie would have been popping out. Huh?
All right, well, thank you, everybody. Drake, I was glad to have you. Glad to have you back. Be sure to check out all of their these players' Twitter handles are down below. Also, check out everyone here. Also has a YouTube channel, so be sure to check out Mike the Piper. He's got some great monster videos and even some older accent and voice videos on there that I think are fantastic. I think you had more than one or two, 3 or 4, whatever. They're still awesome. And you can also find Mike when he's not slumming it here. You can find him over on the Fistful of Dice channel as Edric in the Provokers Season 2 campaign, which you've got a game coming up relatively soon, don't you guys?
20th, 22nd, something like that?
Yes, we have. We moved it up to the 20th, which is a Wednesday of June, and yeah, it's going to be a great. It's great. Really looking forward to it. Hoping it's going to be a good one because it's been a long time coming, and I want to swing big old poleaxe around and try and take care of everyone.
Yeah, make sure you check out A Fistful of Dice and check out Mike in that action. Over on Mastered by Marquise on YouTube, you can find Marquise running the Cirque de Ghouls game of Grief and Gloom.
Friday.
What's that?
Yep, and it starts this Friday.
Yep, that one's starting this Friday, and then not too distant
this
future.
Sunday, I have a Lamentations campaign.
So you can find those on his channel. Right now, Megan and Connor are taking a break from running games over on Dice on Ice on YouTube because they are on the verge. They're putting the finishing touches on the Ravaged Wastelands of Kryphoth that they successfully kickstarted. And for a while, prior to the previous or the current Sunday night campaign, Marquise was running a Kryphoth The Last 7 Days campaign right here on MTD. So you want to keep an eye out for that. That is going to be absolutely phenomenal. And then we've got Drake the RPG Construct. There are lots of how-to videos over on his YouTube channel, the RPG Construct. For Call of Cthulhu, there's some Mouse Guard. Are those the only two?
Sins. No, those are the two that I've finished. I'm doing Adventures in Middle Earth. That's done. I just edit it, and I'm working on Sins now.
Yep. So Drake's been doing a lot of great how-to, and of course, you can catch me under Drake's DMing wiles over on that channel in the Dragon Grin Chronicles, set in the harsh world of Dragon Grin from Tabletop Terrors and Absolute Tabletop.
I think it last I like 120 videos or some ridiculous amount.
Yeah,
it was
been keeping pretty busy. So, and of course, if you would consider following What You Looking At's example, and if you have your Twitch or Amazon Prime account associated with Twitch, you get a free subscription every month. Consider subscribing to MTD, where you'll be able to watch the Bastards of Bastion on Sunday nights, Chult of Personality on Monday nights, as well as I've started up the Guild Artisan live crafting videos. They're kind of spontaneous. So if you also follow at MTD_Jake on Twitter, you can get notified when those are going to happen. Or if you just follow the channel, you'll get a notification when I go live with those videos. And 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to get to hang out with Megan as well, because Megan is always hanging out in the chat on my streams, even when I'm just rambling to myself while I craft things. So, with all of that said, we bring to the close another Chult of Personality. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, awesome players, for playing. I'm Jake. This has been MTD&D Chult of Personality. Metadurr and